Hello and welcome to Season 4 of the Lawyers Learning Center with DHIA podcast. This season, we are going to dive into all things cyber-related: cyber attacks, data breaches, cybersecurity, and cyber liability insurance. Subscribe so you don't miss a thing. We show up every Thursday to deliver insightful information on professional liability insurance, discuss business insurance solutions, and unpack the phases of running a business. Who's responsible for law firm security breaches? You're on the hook, and you probably have no idea. You've made everything secure. No credit card numbers in your files, your computer, or your cloud server. Everything is PCI compliant, and the credit cards are processed by Stripe or Square or some other major processor. And then you get sued. How does this happen? The reality is you have unknown risk. It's confounding. So we asked Whitney Tabosh to explain it. Whitney is a broker at All Risks Limited. She sat down for an interview and answered the following questions. Who owns the data when you're using a third-party payment processor? Who does the law prosecute for a data breach if you've used a third-party payment processor? What about attorneys who accept credit card payments? How does data ownership law apply to data storage? Who owns data when you're using a third-party payment processor? There's a common misconception about data ownership. Many businesses use third-party payment processors such as Square, Stripe, and PayPal. These allow you to take credit cards on your website, phone, or with point-of-sale software. You think you're safe because you're not storing their credit card information. But that's not how data ownership laws work. You're still responsible for protecting that data. Who does the law prosecute for a data breach if you've used a third-party payment processor? The public perceives that they're giving you their credit card to swipe. The law sees you as the owner of the data, and you're responsible even if the breach happens to that payment processor system, even when it's not your system. You're also bound to privacy laws. You collected the information, and you are who the law sees as owning the data. And the privacy laws require you to send notifications to those impacted. The example that surprised me the most is a small snow cone shop got hit. It was a pretty small claim, under $10,000, but they were still on the hook for damages. What about attorneys who accept credit card payments? Question: what if I'm an attorney who takes credit card payments from clients and I've done everything to be PCI compliant, and I'm not storing credit cards locally? The client enters their card directly into a portal connected to Stripe or Square. Their credit card information is not stored anywhere on my site or on my premises. In fact, I don't even know their credit card number. Are you saying I have liability if Stripe or Square gets hacked? The answer is yes, you do. Data ownership law puts the liability on who the public sees as taking that information. Now, I'm not a privacy attorney, but in most cases, the burden is on the person whose client is paying them. So in your example, the attorney is taking credit card payment from a client. The client is giving their credit card to the attorney. He would be responsible for the data ownership. How does data ownership law apply to data storage? The same reasoning applies if you use a data storage company. If the data storage company gets hacked, it doesn't change the fact that that client gave their information to you. You're the person who is supposed to protect that data by law. You choose to use a third-party vendor, but the information that was hacked is really yours. You must notify your clients, customers, etc. The third-party vendor doesn't. Summary. It may be hard to believe, but the data privacy laws hold you responsible if you're the customer interface. You have financial liability. You are also the one required to notify customers if their data is breached by a third-party vendor. According to the law, you are still on the hook. This is complicated and changing the world. If this situation happens to you, you'll need a third party to guide you through the current notification laws. You'll need a consultant if you don't have cyber liability or data breach insurance. Otherwise, your insurance provider should help you navigate the process. Do you store personally identifiable information? It's called PII and includes names, phone numbers, addresses, and more. You are on the hook, and you probably don't know it. Data breach disclosure laws have requirements for you. Do you take payment information? That snow cone kiosk had a $10,000 liability because their payment processor got breached. It's important to note that the kiosk never got breached, just the payment processor. But these are just liabilities. You've got additional threats. Many falsely assume they're too small to matter. But these common threats hit more small businesses than large businesses. There are so many methods and threats out there, and new threats emerge every day. The most savvy businesses understand one thing. It's not if, but when you get hit by a cyber attack or data breach. So plan for it. Cyber liability and data breach insurance are part of that plan. Check out the links in the description for more informational resources on cyber liability and data breach. If you have any questions or would like a cost estimate for cyber liability insurance, contact us. Our information is in the description. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Lawyers Learning Center with DHIA podcast. If you found this information useful, please subscribe and share. We invite you to share your biggest takeaway in the comments, ask us a question, or suggest a subject you'd like to hear. Your feedback will help us keep our topics relevant for you, which is why we are here. We encourage you to listen to our first 2 seasons. Our Lawyers MBA series was created to cover the topics law school missed and is packed with actionable tips on running the business side of a law practice. Tune in next Thursday as we continue to deliver insightful information on professional liability insurance, discuss business insurance solutions, and unpack the phases of running a business.